Peter Piper Pizza is a family pizza and entertainment restaurant chain that opened in 1973. Thank you for your suggestion.
Sad is bad, glad is better. Sad is paying $13 for a pizza. Let's face it, that's what some of you are doing. The other guys charge almost twice as much as Peter Piper Pizza. And I think ours tastes just as good, but I don't want to brag. Come in, try my pizza and check our prices. You be the judge. It's sad to pay high prices for pizza. Just be glad I told you to come on over to Peter Piper Pizza.
Born in Brooklyn in 1923 to Italian immigrants, Anthony Tony Cavolo served in World War II. After returning home, he held various jobs and started a family with his wife, Helen. In 1958, Cavolo bought a grocery store in Ossining, New York, and converted it into a deli. 6 years later, he built Anthony's Steak and Pasta next door. He sold it in 1972 to move to Glendale, where his brother Matthew lived. Tony coaxed his plumber son-in-law, Steve Hergesell, to open Peter Piper. Before opening the restaurant, Tony got a job as a busboy at the Straw Hat Pizza to learn what he could about the business. In 1973, Cavolo opened his first pizza parlor in Glendale, Arizona, with three guiding principles in mind: provide a quality pizza, sell it at a reasonable price, and make dining in his restaurant fun for kids of all ages. In the beginning, after a short stint as the busboy at Straw Hat Pizza, he learned the ins and outs of the business with one exception. He didn't learn how to make pizzas. Instead of bread flour, they used cake flour. The pizzas were a mess, and the business faltered, and Tony and his son-in-law worried about bankruptcy. But in 1976, an advertising agency wanted to put the lovable Tony on television to pitch his pizzas. It was a turning point for the restaurant. The colorful owner became a television pitchman whose thick New York accent made the chain's early TV campaigns memorable. It wasn't his idea. It was the idea of the advertising agency, said his son Frank, who also joined the business. He was just a very outgoing personality, a real entrepreneur. Wearing an apron and a chef's hat, he was on the television nearly every day. He was recognized everywhere he went, Frank said. Frank joined the business in 1978 when it grew to a chain of more than 125 restaurants in 10 states and Mexico. The restaurants ranged in size from 8,500 to 10,000 square feet and provided an abundance of seating and entertainment options, including big screen TVs, video games for teens and live wire games, prizes, and play areas for small children. The restaurants served a variety of pizza styles and toppings, along with other items including breadsticks, chicken wings, and salads. Most Peter Piper locations offered delivery service as well as dine-in seating. In 1982, the first Texas Peter Piper Pizza opened in El Paso. There would eventually be 49 restaurants across Texas. The operation first started out primarily as a pizza restaurant, but slowly grew into a gaming business, from 3 to 5 games in the beginning to 40 to 60 later on. The formula proved to be a success, and by 1992, Peter Piper had established a regional chain of 100 dine-in, delivery, and carry-out restaurants operated through ownership and franchises. The restaurants were located in Arizona, California, Colorado, New Mexico, Oklahoma, Texas, as well as Mexico. In November of 1992, the Venture West Group, an Arizona investment company, acquired a majority and controlling interest in Peter Piper. In July of 1995, Peter Piper received a $12.8 million cash investment from Madison Dearborn Capital Partners. In August of 1995, however, Peter Piper applied for part of the financing to acquire its hometown and regional competitor, the 30-restaurant Pistol Pete's Pizza, and planned a program of conversion, renovation, and expansion to comport with the Peter Piper concept. The acquisition fit into the company's strategy of expanding its brand and updating its units, following the Phoenix prototype that was larger than its existing pizza parlors and featured brighter colors, games, and a menu of moderately priced counter-service pizzas. The conversions would boost the company's business to 40 owned and 85 franchise stores. Both Peter Piper and Pistol Pete's had similar business concepts in that they combined pizza and entertainment. However, Pistol Pete's restaurants tended to be larger than those of Peter Piper, averaging 13,000 square feet to Peter Piper's new prototype size of 8 to 10,000 square feet, which seated around 300 people and allotted more than a quarter of its space to video games and other such machines. With the acquisition, the company anticipated combined sales to exceed $100 million versus its previous annual sales of about $75 million. On September 23, 1996, Rick Campbell, owner of the last two remaining Pistol Pete's outlets, filed suit against Peter Piper, claiming that the company was attempting to monopolize the El Paso, Texas pizza restaurant market. Campbell alleged that Peter Piper and other parties had conspired to restrict his expansion in the market, had violated his franchise agreement, and had prevented him from converting his restaurants to the Peter Piper concept, as other franchisees had done. In November of 1996, the company named C. Ronald Petty, the former president and CEO of Denny's, as its new chairman, president, and CEO. Petty took the helm of Peter Piper, which at the time was a $100 million company ranked among the top 10 pizza restaurant chains in the U.S., in the middle of an aggressive expansion plan. At the time of Petty's recruitment, the company had 125 restaurants in 7 southwestern states and Mexico, with projected growth of 30% for the next 3 years. The company focused on basic pizza at a modest price of $6.59 for a large one-topping pie and attracted families with a combination of pizza and entertainment, including about 30 to 50 video and virtual reality games, but not playgrounds like those at Chuck E. Cheese restaurants. Half of its sales were from takeout orders. The chain did not own the games, but had an agreement with the supplier that rotated fresh games and split the revenue with the restaurants. The age appeal of the games presented a critical difference between the company and much of its fun-centered competition, which focused more on small children. Unlike its competitors, Peter Piper had gaming attractions that appealed to 17-year-olds as well as to 5-year-olds. In the prizes linked to the games, the company enhanced value by offering coupons that could be saved up and redeemed for brand-name merchandise, including audio equipment, sporting goods, mountain bikes, and in some markets, washer-dryers and refrigerators. By July of 1998, Peter Piper had signed 8 franchise development agreements to open 137 new restaurants in 3 to 5 years. The restaurants were planned for California, Texas, Oklahoma, and Mexico. The company also planned expansion into the Midwest and on the East Coast. Despite its rapid growth, the Peter Piper chain was still dwarfed by such leading competitors as Domino's and Pizza Hut. By the year 2000, Peter Piper Pizza operated 51 company units and 97 franchise sites. While in the past, Peter Piper focused on placing restaurants in neighborhoods, the company began building its newer restaurants, such as the one in Chandler, in higher traffic strip mall locations with a larger proportion of families. In addition, the company secured from Fleet National Bank an $18 million line of credit to pay off debt and provide new funds for expansion and remodeling of existing restaurants. By 2003, the Peter Piper chain had 48 company-owned and 97 franchised restaurants with an average unit volume of $1 million for food and beverages. Each outlet had 35 to 50 games, which accounted for approximately 35% of revenue. Pepperoni pizza was the most popular with children, although the 7-topping Works and the Chicago Classic were strong sellers as well. The company also introduced the hand-tossed crust version. Peter Piper continued opening up new restaurants throughout 2003, operating more than 150 company-owned and franchise outlets by 2004. In 2007, the company was sold again to Acon Investments. In October of 2014, Apollo Global Management, owners of CEC Entertainment, the parent company of Chuck E. Cheese restaurant chain, acquired the company. In March of that year, Peter Piper Pizza redesigned its logo as part of an effort to connect with Generation X and millennial parents. CEC Entertainment, Peter Piper's parent company, filed for bankruptcy in 2020 due to the significant financial strain brought on by the COVID-19 pandemic. In December of that year, CEC Entertainment emerged from bankruptcy under the ownership of its lenders, led by Monarch Alternative Capital. In February of 2022, a new takeout version of Peter Piper Pizza, known as Peter Piper Pizza Express, opened in Phoenix, Arizona. This concept effectively removes the dining rooms and arcades seen in the standard Peter Piper restaurants, almost copying the Pizza Hut and Little Caesars Pizzas format. In March of 2023, a new fast casual version of Peter Piper Pizza, known as Peter Piper Pizzeria, opened in Kansas. A second location opened in Kansas City, Missouri in June of 2023. Both locations were closed by June of 2024, with the Kansas City location being converted into a Chuck E. Cheese location. Today, the company and its franchises operate more than 150 pizza parlors throughout the southwestern United States and Mexico. So what do you remember about this place? Leave a comment or a suggestion for a future video below. And if you haven't already, hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.
Yeah, bringing back memories from the good old days. That's super cool, man.